Game Breakers Toolkit, the jam where you make shitty games in a week. What a great idea. So, this is Exit Room, the game where you have to exit this room. The room has two doors, north and south. The northern door is very shittily drawn, and its handle is an inoperable scribble. It can't be opened. However, exiting through the southern door summons a pop-up asking you to instead exit via the north, a conundrum for the ages. What I try to do with this game is maximize the perceived shittiness. And I think that the best way to do this is not to make everything as shitty as possible. No, a dark painting does not look dark amidst other dark things. It looks darkest when surrounded by the light. And so I fill the game with both high-quality assets and design, and aspects that are absolute gobshite, like a yin-yang of quality. Some parts even mix good stuff and gobshite, like this walking animation, which successfully gets across the motion of walking, and the motion of the legs is mostly correct, but it's torn here from where I selected and dragged the foot, and it plays way too fast. Whee! Look at him go! A lot of the portraits are designed according to Art Boy. What is drawn is ghastly, and no one wants to look at it, but it's drawn well. Ultimately, I want the quality to be high enough to inspire a little actual investment, but for parts to be low quality enough to frustrate that investment. I think that leads to a much worse experience than being able to get comfortable with the game being a giant shitpost. Tell you what, there's value to be had in making a game with no concern of quality. It means you can do pretty much whatever you want, regardless of whether it works well or not. No concern of things like artistic fundamentals or effective tutorials. It's a lot of fun. This lack of concern doesn't necessarily apply though if you want to make something as low quality as possible. Just ask Andrew Hussey. Making things extremely low quality can be as hard as making them high quality, if not harder. It means defying years of good artistic habits and finding new and innovative ways to worsen and worsen the quality of the work, to learn and understand how to make good things, then to do the exact opposite. For instance, I've applied my many years of occasional experience with shaders to produce this ghastly shader to shittyify everything on screen. And it is the guilty party in the case of the ghastly colours and flickering. The screen is divided into 16 regions, and every second each region is given a different effect. Most likely it will push the red, green and blue channels out to their extremes, but other effects include the loss of all colour and this horrible flickering effect. Also, every frame there is a chance that each region shifts to one side, making it look like the screen is tearing somewhat. I heard once that square root operations are computationally expensive, so I made the game sometimes do 1,000,000 square roots per frame in order to lag the game a bunch. Alas, in the web version, 1,000,000 square roots makes it literally unplayable, so I decreased it to 1,000 before realizing that 1,000 is way too few to have any effect, but I was too lazy to go back and add some extra zeros back, so 1,000 it will remain. The camera can move a little to the left of the level, but not the right. All of the alleged music is panned to one side, and it's meant to be repetitive enough to be annoying, but unpredictable enough that you don't get used to it. The dialogue is riddled with typos, and the sound of the dialogue is random noises from chiptone, which unfortunately don't overlap. E is the button you press to activate dialogue, but if you press it while there's already dialogue up, it resummons the same dialogue instead of progressing through the text. There's a random idle game in this game. You can press this button to get a point, and 10 points can be exchanged at the circus for a clown, who gives you 1 point per second. Points do nothing. If you talk to this man twice, he delivers a completely inane and irritatingly long lecture on what he thinks the nature of the soul is, riddled with so many typos, you'd think I had an hour-long seizure while writing it. The solution of the game is to walk through one of the walls, a fact that is told to you plainly if you walk to the correct place. Sometimes you're teleported back to where you were about a second ago. This game is rife with these major and minor annoyances that would really get on people's nerves if they were actually invested in the game and played for more than a minute. Alas, I think that I have failed on my first attempt here to create an experience that will invite that level of investment to be shattered and trampled upon. As one commenter notes, it's definitely bad, but it's almost artful in its execution. Perhaps a better approach would be to introduce first the quality aspects of the game and move into shittier and shittier nonsense as the game progresses. Keep the shitty shader inactive until partway through the game. All I know is I'm absolutely making more shitty games in the future. It is an art form that is sorely in need of more instances. But for now, it is time for me to go do something completely different. Bye!